This is a mobility flow video I'm going to do. It's not really yoga, but over the years of doing yoga and other rehabilitative things, I found a lot of hip and kind of upper body mobility movements that work really well for a lot of people. So a lot of these are in yoga. We're just not going to do your standard yoga movements, just the stretches. I will show you lots of variations, and hopefully it works for you as good as it works for me. Here we go. So this first one we're going to do is a seated external hip rotation. So you're going to sit up nice and tall here, and you're going to make sure that when you are pushing down on this knee, that you don't slouch or lean. All right, you got to sit up as straight as possible. All right, so the height of my box is such that my knee is level with my hip. So I'm sitting at parallel. That's where I want to be. And my goal is to be able to get this knee about level with this knee. So as I get better, my knee should get lower. And we're gonna go a minute per side on every exercise here. You got 10 exercises, 2 sides. This is a 20-minute video. Now, if you want to change the time, feel free. Do it for 90 seconds. Do it for 2 minutes. Do it 2 times through. Good. It's gonna hold nice and strong. Focus on your breathing. It's real easy to shrug that shoulder. You saw me doing it. I looked up and saw in the mirror. Pull those shoulders down. Here we go, switching sides. So I really would prefer to do this a couple times through. The second go around is much better than the first go around. But breathing's important. If you can breathe and just kind of relax, you're not, which causes muscle tension. If you can just relax and breathe space into the joint you're trying to stretch, it works much quicker. Should we get a big stretch deep in the hip? It might not be any particular place, just kind of all over the hip, kind of deep inside the joint, a lot of people typically say. For most people, this is a joint capsule stretch, not actually a muscular stretch, which is a good thing to work on. All right, y'all, this is called a lying internal hip rotation. So we're gonna lay right here. We're going to kick one foot out to the side and use the other one to pull that knee down. It's important that both hips stay flat on the ground. We don't want to twist and lean. So we're trying to pull this hip flat to the ground, and the same with the knee. And we get another deep stretch inside that hip. Might not feel muscular, might feel like it's deep in the joint, so just ease into it, stretch out that hip real good. And again, breathing is important. Shallow, quick breaths make muscles tight. Long, slow, steady breaths help relax them. All right, here we go. I'm going to switch this way so you can see. All right, I'm laying straight. This is my midline. I kick my foot out to the side, drop the knee down, still haven't crossed over this midline. I'm still on the correct side of the midline. And I use my other leg to pull down. I'm trying to keep these hips flat. I'm trying not to twist and arch my back. We're good. So on this one, if you put too much pressure, you might feel pressure in your knee. So make sure you're not pushing above the knee or below the knee. Try pushing right on the knee so there's even pressure above and below, and just ease into this one. We don't want any pain. Tiny bit of pressure, for me it's okay. You gotta be your own judge. How much pressure feels safe. All right, y'all, we have a lying hamstring stretch. So I got my strap here. This is meant for stretching. It's got different kind of handles sewn into it so I can get different lengths. All right, so you can use a dog leash or a belt or a towel, doesn't matter. Either way, both legs locked out straight, no bend, and we're gonna slowly pull. Now if I do this and I take this strap and I put it on my toes and I pull my toes to my shin, my stretch is much bigger.
But on the flip side, if I point in this stretch position, if I have any tightness in this anterior tibialis muscle here, the shin, you're gonna feel it. So both are good. Do them both. Big stretch through here. If you're pulling that toe down, you got tight calves, you'll feel it in here too. All right, y'all. Other side. Here we go. Point that toe, stretch out the shin, relax. Keeping that core engaged. It's hard to remember. I forget all the time. But keep it engaged. It holds everything in the right place. So when your core is engaged, your hips sit more appropriately. So your stretches work better. All right, y'all. We have something called the pretzel stretch. So this pretzel stretch here looks something like this. One leg up, cross the ankle over the other knee. I'm gonna grab both my feet, one in each hand, pull into my butt and drop my leg back to the ground. Just like everything else, it's important to keep this hip down. I'm pretty tight right now. You can see how my back is arching. My goal is to be able to get that back to the ground. Okay, so once I get in the best position I can, there's two parts of this. My leg is flat on the ground down here, and my foot on the other side is flat on the ground, and I work on pressing this knee away. When I can master all of that, not until I can master this. This is the most important part, but we can always work onto a pulling movement, which stretches here. The push, probably gonna stretch somewhere in here, in your TFL. All right, I'm gonna turn and hit the other side. I'll face this way. Cross left ankle over the right knee. Grab both my feet, drop to the ground. Try to keep this butt down. Try to keep this back down. So pushing away, stretches here. When I get mastery of that and I pull, it's going to stretch back here. So same part of the hip, different angle. Now we're going to do a lot of stretches for this here in a minute, so don't jump to that one too quick. Spend your time here. Really get that mobility in the pushing direction. Always try to twist this way with your hip to get that hip to the floor. All right, y'all. We have something called a hip opener. After we got that mobility down, we're going to be better suited to get into this one. So we're going to almost sit Indian style or crisscross applesauce. So this foot holds this knee down and make sure I got 90-degree angles here. I'm not sitting like this, right? Or out straight. Whatever hip is down, I'm stretching away from that side. So left leg and left hip are down. I reach up and away. If I lean back, I lose my stretch. If I lean forward, it's a good one. I should feel this all the way down the side into my hip. I might feel my glute over here, depending on how tight I am. But you're reaching. While I'm reaching my arm that way, I'm pushing my hip that way. And get a big stretch all the way down the left side. All right, switch sides. Turn maybe this way. Don't look at my feet. They're all black. I'm walking outside barefoot. Remember, leaning back like this, the stretch isn't as big. Now, if you're real tight, you won't be able to sit up all the way like this. So lean back if you have to as you get better. Inch your way up. but drive this knee and foot to the ground, lean forward and reach over. All right, y'all. We're moving to something called a pigeon. So this is a hip and glute stretch. So we will start here. Put our shin in line with the top of our yoga mat. Get our hips stacked. We're not leaning to one side. We're straight up. We're gonna hold this leg in place so it doesn't slide back like this into my crotch. My shin stays parallel with the top of the yoga mat, and I sit back. Keep scooting that back leg back, making sure I'm not dropping to my hip. Keep my hips square. And I relax, hold myself up high. As I get better, I'll be able to go to the ground. Gotta make sure I don't round up. Gotta keep that chest up and back nice and straight. Other side. I'll face the camera so you can see. So you'll notice here, scoot over a little bit. Got my hips are stacked straight. I'm not here, or my knees not out to the side. Everything is stacked in a straight line. Again, pull that belly button in. Chest up. Should be stretching back here in the hip, the glute. Focus on your breathing. As you get looser, sink lower. All right, good, y'all. We're doing good. So we got something called a lying chest opener. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna lay flat on the ground, both arms straight out to the side, and we are going to reach over with one arm and one foot, almost like a scorpion. And we open up and we hold. We should get a stretch through the chest here and then this shoulder. Nice and easy. Real tight in the hips. You probably feel this too. Take my eyes, look up at my hand, work on getting neck mobility. That's just as important as the rest of the spine. People typically forget that. Especially nowadays, we're always looking on our phones and our computers. Necks are all messed up and tight. All right, switch the sides. I'm gonna turn this way. Boom, arm straight out. Bring that foot across, same with the arm. Doing good, y'all. Keep on breathing. Slow, steady breaths. Nice and deep, too. Deep, slow, steady breaths. If something starts to cramp up, sometimes that happens when you stretch. You can get out of it, moving around a little bit. When it goes away, get back into it. All right, y'all. So we got a thoracic rotation. So this, we'll lay down flat on our stomachs. You will take one knee and you will kick it out to the side. That's your kickstand. That keeps your hips from twisting. Okay, now, if my right knee is out, I'm gonna take my right hand and I'm gonna reach across to the other side. Okay, getting all twisted up here, that's good. Take my top hand, grab my wrist. I'm gonna pull this wrist and shoulder under and push the top one back over. All in one movement. So my hips are on the ground and I am twisting my upper back, my thoracic spine. This is called a thoracic rotation. My goal is to get this shoulder directly on top of this shoulder. I got quite a ways to go, I think. So you can feel this in your groin, your upper back, your middle back. We're gonna switch sides. Okay, so let's go this way. You can see what I'm doing this way. So lay down. I'm gonna take this left leg and I'm gonna kick my back leg out that you can't see. And then I'm gonna reach through. Just like this. I'll turn around this way real quick too. If you feel this in your low back, ease up. You should not feel things in your low back. You want to keep the stretches to your middle and upper back and to the hips and the glutes. Don't let it go to your low back. That means you're stretching too hard. This one's a hard one to breathe, but you got to breathe steady. Good. Feeling much looser already. All right, this is called elbow to instep. So we're going to do two different versions of this, internally and externally. So I plant kind of here, like in a deep lunge. All right, I'm going to drive forward and drop my elbow to the instep of the foot. Same side, left leg, left elbow. Get as low as I can, driving those hips forward, trying not to round, trying to keep my chest up and my back straight. I can't get any lower. I twist my head and my arms so my whole upper body twists. More thoracic spine mobility, bigger stretch out here. So I'm just gonna slowly do a few of these. And then I'm gonna put that hand down, I'm gonna go the other way. This one's much harder. This one, I'm not real good at, so I like to hold. Get used to holding that position up top. All right, we're gonna switch sides. All right, so everything's stacked in line. Nothing's kicked out to the side. All right, right leg forward. Get my hips stretched out and driven forward. I'm gonna put my elbow as close to the floor as I can. And then I'm gonna reach, making sure my eyes stay on my hand. Open up. Good, after I do a few of these and get nice and loose, I'm gonna go the other way. Plant this hand for balance, drop the other elbow to the floor, and open up. And just like that other side, I'm gonna hold tight right here. Big stretch in the groin. Middle back stretching good. Looking good, y'all. Last thing, called a quad flexor stretch. So it looks like this. All right, so we're gonna get back into that elbow to instep position. All right, so what you do, you'll roll this front foot over. You're gonna reach. So left leg, left arm, just like the elbow to instep. Reach behind and grab the outside of the opposite foot. Now I'm driving forward and I'm pulling my heel to my butt. And I'm twisting my chest to the sky, just like everything else. Hips don't twist. Hips stay still. They point straight to the floor. I'm twisting everything else. Should get a huge stretch right up the quad into the hip flexor. If you start getting a cramp, pretty common to get a cramp in the hamstring, you gotta be careful how you get out or get into that position. You got to make sure that you don't get real stretched out and then pull that leg up. You got to maybe grab it from here and then go into it. All right, so we'll turn this way, give you that one last view. Boom, elbow to instep position, low lunge if you will. Roll this foot over on its side so that knee drops out. And I'm gonna reach behind with the same side arm. Grab the outside of that foot. Boom, here we go. Driving the hips forward, pulling the heel to the butt, Open the chest to the ceiling and hold. Big quad and hip flexor stretch. Hold tight. Upper back's getting nice and mobile. That's always a good thing. Neck's feeling loose. I'm tight in the glute. I'll feel it. Feel it on this side. Try to get that butt or that heel all the way to your butt. That's good, y'all. That's it. That was a minute of everything. Now, I'm gonna turn the camera off here and I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna do it all over again for myself. I like to do it a second time, or maybe do everything for 2 minutes per side instead of 1. But for most people, 1 time through is gonna be a good workout, and it's gonna really kind of expose some weaknesses and some tightnesses, which weak and tight's the same thing. What came first, chicken or egg? We don't know, but we don't care. All we're gonna do is we're gonna strengthen and loosen. So 2 minutes per side in the end, or 3 minutes per side is better, but good job, y'all. Hope y'all feel much better.